Thanks for clicking on to the June Outlook edition of Vogan's US Outlook. Hope you're having a good day so far. Looks as if we are going to see a very, very toasty Memorial Day weekend across particularly the central portion of the United States. Cut-off low over the southwest will keep things rather cool compared to normal. And of course down across Florida we've got a fresh injection of rich tropical moisture coming north. Also of course we've got that potential for tropical development as well. But regardless of whether we see anything tropical develop, proper, official, over the Gulf of Mexico, what we are going to see is a ton of rain moving into Florida, up into the southeast, up into the Gulf Coast region as well. And this is going to all have impacts later down the road, I think, in terms of temperature across this region of the country. So June overall is looking rather warm compared to normal. You can see here that we've got off the CFSV2 a banana shaped high across the top. Always somewhat lower heights further south, and that of course allows the development of shower and thunderstorm activity of course. And then as we skip through the sequence here, you can see here that the high loses a bit of ground week 2, so the 18 to 14 day period. This is of course the end of May into the first week of June. Then as you can see here that the model indicates that the high retrogrades back towards the west, and that allows somewhat of a trough to come in through the Great Lakes in the northeast, so a cooler episode coming into the eastern half of the country. Still, even the day 22 through 28, this is June 13 through 20, the high focused over the western half of the country, so that would to me indicate that the core of the heat during June may be focused more towards the western high plains and the Great Basin region of the country as well. Then by the time we skip out to the very end of June, that high starts to build back towards the Great Lakes. So to me, this model is still questionable in terms of some of its output, but it does indicate that the focus of the heat central and western portions of the country overall. Looking at the precipitation, you can see here the upcoming 7 days. No surprise, we've got a very, very significant amount of precipitation coming straight out of the Caribbean, across western Cuba, across Florida, into the southeast. So any kind of drought issues that we've got at the moment, that is now getting eradicated, and the focus will start to turn more towards Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle, back towards the southwestern half of the country here. So the upcoming 7 days looks like this precipitation wise. Focus the rain. Look at the rain focused persistently week on week across the southeastern half of the country. So to me, I don't think it's going to be a particularly hot summer when you lay down this amount of precipitation during the early part of the summer. That will have a feedback later down the road here. So that even into the middle and second half of June, we're still talking about wetter than normal conditions, say from West Florida all the way up towards Houston. Still drier than normal across the core of the worst drought affected areas, of course, in Texas, Oklahoma, westwards towards the Four Corners. So you can see here that by the time we skip out to the very end of the month, precipitation still above normal. Even easing off, yes, but it's still above normal overall here. So you can see here 2 minute temperature anomalies here real quick, and you can see that week 1 very, very warm compared to normal. Of course, week 1, remember, we had the banana shaped high across the top, so therefore the focus of the hottest conditions, northern plains and the southern prairies of Canada here, the upcoming 7 day period here. Then of course the second week, you've got the warmer conditions across the Pacific Northwest, across Texas, across the southern plain states overall, with drier conditions. Then notice here, of course, as we started to go through the middle portion of the month, the high starts to focus in the west, so the warmest conditions across the west. And then of course with that potential for troughiness coming into the Great Lakes in the eastern half of the country, the model is seeing cooler than normal, extending from the Great Lakes all the way down to Florida, of course, with an intrusion of cooler Canadian air. And then as we go towards the second half, the focus of the heat will be centred over the plain states here. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we can get much in the way of rain in the worst affected drought areas. But of course, Florida, the southeastern half of the country, the drought is getting eradicated now. So overall, a warm month, but there is going to be a couple of wee exceptions to that rule, of course. Hope you have a great day, and I'll be back in the next few days with more.